They had the fame. They had the fortune. And they had faces the world couldn't get enough of. But in the relentless pursuit of perfection, some stars paid a heartbreaking price. In 13 Celebrity Plastic Surgery Disasters, Then and Now, we expose the shocking transformations that left once iconic faces nearly unrecognizable. From minor touch-ups that spiraled out of control to extreme makeovers that erased their natural charm, these stories are cautionary tales from the heart of exposed Hollywood. Some tried to freeze time. Others lost the very spark that made them stars. Get ready for a jaw-dropping journey through the most unforgettable cosmetic catastrophes in celebrity history. Linda Evangelista, once the undisputed queen of the 90s runway, was a fashion icon who didn't just walk the catwalk, she owned it. With her unforgettable beauty and the now legendary line, "I don't wake up for less than $10,000 a day," Linda became the face of luxury, gracing over 700 magazine covers and becoming a muse for powerhouse brands like Chanel and Dolce & Gabbana. She was known as the ultimate chameleon, effortlessly transforming for every shoot, every show, every campaign. But behind the glamour and flashbulbs, a devastating chapter was waiting to unfold. In 2016, Linda underwent a cool sculpting procedure, a non-invasive fat-freezing treatment marketed as safe and revolutionary. But what was meant to enhance her body turned into her worst nightmare. Instead of eliminating fat, the treatment triggered a rare and brutal side effect called paradoxical adipose hyperplasia, PH. A condition that caused her fat cells to grow larger and harden, leaving painful, disfiguring lumps across her body. 2 failed corrective surgeries later, Linda no longer recognized the woman staring back at her in the mirror. Once the most photographed face in the world, she withdrew from the spotlight, hiding in silence and battling unimaginable emotional pain. The fashion world had no idea what happened until 2021, when Linda courageously stepped forward, revealing her story and filing a lawsuit against the company behind the procedure. A year later, following a confidential settlement, she began her slow and brave return to the public eye. Though the emotional scars may never fully fade, Linda Evangelista is no longer hiding. She's standing tall, sharing her truth, not just as a supermodel, but as a survivor. Her story is more than a cautionary tale. It's a powerful reminder that beauty comes with risks, and strength is found not in perfection, but in perseverance. Once hailed as the epitome of classic beauty, Priscilla Presley wasn't just Elvis's wife. She was a symbol of grace, mystery, and timeless elegance. Throughout the 60s and 70s, she captivated the world with her poise, her roles in Dallas and The Naked Gun, and her unwavering dedication to preserving Elvis's legacy through Graceland. But behind the glamour, a heartbreaking chapter unfolded, one that would forever change her iconic face. In 2003, in a desperate attempt to hold on to youth, Priscilla became the victim of a shocking cosmetic nightmare. She was unknowingly injected with industrial-grade silicone, the kind used in car parts, by an unlicensed doctor masquerading as a beauty expert. The results were catastrophic. Her once delicate features became unnaturally swollen, particularly around her cheeks, leaving her almost unrecognizable. By 2008, the truth came to light. Priscilla had been one of many deceived by Dr. Daniel Serrano, a phony doctor to the stars, who was eventually sentenced to prison for medical fraud. Though she underwent corrective procedures, the damage was permanent. Her face took on a stretched, glossy appearance, worsened by repeated Botox and laser treatments. Cruel headlines and comparisons to a plastic mask flooded the media, amplifying her private anguish. Yet through it all, Priscilla stood tall. With quiet strength, she reinvented herself, not as a victim, but as a resilient force. She continued building her empire through smart real estate moves, acting ventures, and her work with Graceland. And in 2022, she returned to the spotlight with her head held high, walking red carpets for Elvis, honoring the love that once defined her and the legacy she helped preserve. Priscilla Presley's story is more than just a cautionary tale about the dark side of beauty culture. It's a powerful testament to endurance, self-worth, and the courage it takes to face the world when the mirror no longer reflects the person you once knew. Joan Rivers wasn't just a comedian, she was a force of nature. With her razor-sharp wit and unapologetic candor, She broke barriers on The Tonight Show and kept Hollywood on its toes with fashion police. Her loud personality, quick tongue, and no-holds-barred humor made her a legend. But behind the curtain of punchlines and red carpet roasts was a woman candid about her lifelong battle with aging and her obsession with staying forever young. Joan famously admitted to undergoing more than 700 cosmetic procedures, facelifts, nose jobs, Botox, you name it. At first, they were subtle enhancements. But over time, the changes became more dramatic. By the early 2000s, her face told a different story. Taut skin stretched too far, plumped lips, and eyes pulled tightly from repeated surgeries. She laughed it off, calling it maintenance, but behind the jokes were warnings from doctors and critics alike, saying she'd crossed a dangerous line. Still, Joan never wavered. She didn't hide. She didn't apologize. She kept writing, performing, and making people laugh right up until her sudden passing in 2014, a tragic end following complications from what was supposed to be a routine throat procedure. Her death sent shockwaves through the industry and reignited conversations about the high cost of beauty in showbiz, especially for aging women. Yet, even in death, Joan Rivers left us with more than just laughs. She left a legacy of fearless honesty, a warning about the extremes of perfection, and a reminder that even the brightest stars can be dimmed by society's impossible standards. But Joan? She burned brilliant, right to the very end. Caitlyn Jenner's story is one of the most powerful transformations ever witnessed in the public eye. Once known to the world as Bruce Jenner, the 1976 Olympic gold medalist and symbol of all-American masculinity, she was celebrated for her athletic greatness and seen as the proud father of 6 on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But behind the medals and the cameras, Caitlyn was quietly battling a truth that had followed her for decades: the struggle to live authentically. Her journey of self-discovery began long before the public knew, with subtle cosmetic surgeries in the 1980s, a nose job and facelift that hinted at an internal battle few could see. These early procedures, shaped by fear, pressure, and confusion, left her with a face that felt foreign, both to the world and to herself. The media was ruthless, picking apart her appearance, her choices, her very being. But Caitlyn didn't back down. Instead, she continued forward, not just to correct what surgery had done, but to reveal the woman she had always known she was. With every step, she reclaimed her identity. And though the world watched closely, sometimes cruelly, Caitlyn used that spotlight to shine a light on others. She became a voice for the LGBTQ+ community, sharing her truth with grace and bravery, reminding people that authenticity is worth fighting for. Caitlyn Jenner's transformation isn't just about physical change. It's about emotional resilience, personal truth, and the power to be seen as you truly are. Her journey is a testament to the human spirit's unbreakable will to live freely and honestly, no matter the cost. Sharon Stone, the unforgettable icon of basic instinct, once embodied the pinnacle of Hollywood glamour, all sharp elegance, icy charisma, and timeless allure. But behind the silver screen shimmer was a woman whose control over her own body was shockingly stripped away. In 2001, during what was supposed to be a routine breast reconstruction to remove a benign tumor, Sharon woke up to an unthinkable betrayal. Her surgeon had secretly enlarged her breasts without her consent. His reasoning? He thought they would better match her hips. To Sharon, it wasn't just a violation, it was a theft of her agency, a choice stolen from her body without permission. She later opened up about this in her searing memoir The Beauty of Living Twice, exposing the dark side of vanity masked as medical advice. That same year, fate dealt her another cruel blow. A near-fatal stroke and a 9-day brain hemorrhage left her partially paralyzed, fighting for her life and her identity. To recover, she endured over 300 Botox and filler injections, not for beauty, but to regain facial symmetry and function. Cosmetic treatments that once seemed like a luxury became a lifeline. Even her early experimentation with lip enhancements had gone awry, leaving her joking that she looked more like a herring than a Hollywood starlet. Now at 67, Sharon has made a powerful choice: to age on her own terms. She's turned her back on facelifts and rejected the industry's obsession with manufactured youth. Her recent photos don't whisper perfection. They shout authenticity, strength, and unapologetic self-ownership. Sharon Stone's story isn't just about survival. It's a bold reminder that beauty isn't in the mirror. It's in resilience, self-worth, and the courage to live life unfiltered. Tara Reid was once the radiant it girl of the early 2000s, the fresh-faced beauty who won over audiences as Vicky in American Pie, embodying the effortless charm of the girl next door. But in 2004, a decision that was meant to boost her confidence turned into a highly publicized nightmare. A breast augmentation and liposuction procedure left her with devastating results: uneven nipples, a rippled stomach, and even a small hernia. The world found out the worst way possible, during a red carpet event at Diddy's birthday party, where a wardrobe malfunction exposed her surgical scars to the flashbulbs of 1,000 cameras. Overnight, she became the subject of media ridicule and viral headlines that shattered her once gleaming image. In 2006, she sought redemption through corrective surgery with Dr. Steven Sveik, who performed a donut mastopexy to improve her appearance. While the results were a step forward, they could never bring back the natural beauty she once had. As years passed, fans couldn't help but notice her increasingly thin frame and the visible signs of Botox and fillers that seemed to reshape her face. At a 2025 film premiere, many whispered that Tara Reid no longer looked like Tara Reid, another cruel chapter in the relentless scrutiny women face in Hollywood. Now 49, Tara continues to act in films like Sharknado and Masha's Mushrooms, but her most powerful role might be the one she plays off-screen. She speaks candidly about the emotional scars left behind by cosmetic surgery, owning both her regrets and her resilience. Today, Tara Reid stands not just as a cautionary tale, but as a woman who found strength in self-acceptance, proving that true beauty isn't about perfection, but perseverance. Jennifer Grey, the unforgettable baby from Dirty Dancing, once captured hearts with her natural elegance and that beautifully distinct nose, a signature of her charm and individuality. But in the early 90s, chasing a more marketable Hollywood image, Jennifer made a life-altering decision. She underwent not one, but 2 rhinoplasty procedures. The result was shocking. Her once recognizable face, full of character and uniqueness, had been replaced with something more conventional and tragically forgettable. Suddenly, casting directors didn't recognize her. Fans were confused. And Jennifer herself? She was devastated. In her memoir, she admitted to the heartbreak of looking in the mirror and seeing a stranger staring back. What was meant to elevate her career nearly ended it. The public wasn't kind. The media mocked her, critics mourned the loss of her iconic look, and side-by-side photos only fueled the narrative Hollywood had stripped away her magic in the name of conformity. She later called it the biggest mistake of her life. A painful lesson in what happens when you surrender your authenticity to please an industry obsessed with perfection. But Jennifer's story doesn't end in regret. Now, at 65, she's reclaimed her voice and her power. With appearances in shows like Grey's Anatomy, she walks with renewed confidence, not hiding from the past, but embracing it. Her journey is a powerful reminder: beauty may fade, trends may shift, but staying true to yourself? That's what leaves a lasting mark. Katie Price, once known to the world as Jordan, burst onto the scene in the 1990s with her curly locks, radiant smile, and girl-next-door charm. But the fresh-faced model who captured headlines for her natural allure gradually faded into a figure nearly unrecognizable, sculpted, tightened, and transformed by decades of cosmetic surgeries. Her journey began in 1998 with a breast augmentation that opened the floodgates to a staggering series of more than 17 breast procedures, 6 facelifts, liposuction, a Brazilian butt lift, and an endless cycle of fillers and Botox. By 2017, one botched facelift left her with sagging skin under her eyes, sparking headlines and heartbreak among longtime fans. The vibrant young woman they once adored was now replaced by a surgically altered version that even she struggled to accept. Her pursuit of beauty came with a heavy price. A 2015 breast reduction ended in a painful infection. In 2020, another procedure required emergency surgery. And in 2024, a $10,000 facelift in Turkey left her so bruised and swollen that she temporarily lost her sight. Speaking candidly on the How to Fail podcast, Katie questioned whether people still saw her as beautiful or just as plastic. Critics have cruelly likened her appearance to a Bratz doll, while those closest to her worry about the physical toll these repeated surgeries are taking. Yet at 47, Katie shows no signs of stopping. She's already eyeing ear reshaping and additional fillers, despite stern warnings from doctors. In a vulnerable moment on the Jeremy Vine show, she admitted feeling ugly and said she wished she had never gone under the knife at just 18. Her story is more than just a timeline of procedures. It's a haunting portrait of a woman chasing control, identity, and validation in a world that never stops judging. Once celebrated as the embodiment of Hollywood elegance in Shakespeare in Love, Gwyneth Paltrow captivated audiences with her ethereal charm, delicate features, and radiant skin. As the founder of the Goop empire, she built a brand around natural beauty and effortless wellness. But by the 2010s, fans began to notice subtle, but undeniable, changes. Her once soft features seemed tighter, her cheekbones more sculpted, and her skin unnaturally smooth. Whispers of Botox, fillers, and even minor facelifts began to swirl. Though Gwyneth has long denied going under the knife, she has been candid about exploring non-invasive treatments like Xeomin. One particular filler experience, however, left her shaken. "I looked crazy," she admitted on her Goop podcast, reflecting on the emotional toll of seeing a stranger staring back at her in the mirror. The moment was a turning point. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar, she opened up about how those cosmetic missteps made her re-evaluate everything. Online, side-by-side photos tell a striking story. Once the poster child for natural beauty, Gwyneth's image had morphed into something more polished, more Hollywood. Arched brows, plump cheeks. The internet had its opinions. Some critics claimed she'd lost the magic that made her iconic, while others sympathized, acknowledging the immense pressure to preserve youth in an industry obsessed with perfection. Now, at 53, Gwyneth is embracing a softer return to her roots. She champions simplicity, gentle skincare, mindful wellness, and natural aging through her Goop platform. And in her recent public appearances, fans are noticing something different. Not the work of a scalpel or syringe, but a graceful evolution. Proof that beauty doesn't have to be frozen in time. It can grow, glow, and redefine itself with age. Thanks for watching Exposed Hollywood. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Until then, stay curious.